Oh, StreamYard. Here I am. Okay, just playing with StreamYard. I'm still not quite familiar with StreamYard yet. So I get to play and see what I can do with it. Apologize for the delay, but here I am. Uh, my idea was just to come on and just bring up being more positive. This is easy. Unless I hit it. That's still up. Going. Close enough. Except in the way of the. There we go. That's right. This. Oh, hello, Chloe. Hello, Lori Elderkin. I didn't think anyone was going to join me. I was just going to ramble on for a little while. Welcome. Basically, my idea was just try to tell everyone to be more thankful to themselves. It's going to come that we're, it's Black Friday and you're supposed to buy stuff and all that other stuff. And then they also put out there that, oh, if you can't buy from others, you can buy for yourself. I don't think that we need that. I think we need to stop and just be thankful for ourselves. And I think buying stuff for ourselves is just another coping mechanism to make ourselves feel better. Thank you, Chloe. I appreciate it. Yeah, I just want to go live sometimes to just get things off my head, off my chest, sort of thing. But I think that's another, one of the things that I enjoy very much is walking in the woods. And with that, I get ideas in my head. And sometimes I remember them, but sometimes I get to write them down. And that's when I should look at those notes that I made for myself. There we go. But yeah, that's another thing is that, we're going out. This holiday season is about buying the right gifts for everybody and getting the right thing for everybody. I don't think that's all about, Thanksgiving. We just didn't have time for Thanksgiving. Hello, John Paul. John Paul. I saw an A rather than an O. Welcome to my live stream. I'm drinking hot chocolate out of my snowman mug. I got this at the dollar store because I wanted a big mug. I drink coffee at work, but coffee gets me too jittery, so I've been diluting it. So I need because the machine only makes, it's an automatic, it pours it into your cup. So then I put the hot water in and I dilute the coffee and then, these big mugs. But then I bought one, I'm like, these are just perfect. And it's because it's a snowman, doesn't mean I can't use it all year. So I bought one for work and one for home. But this is hot cocoa. And sometimes what I do is I make the regular hot cocoa mix and I put baker's chocolate, which is unsweetened baker's chocolate in there. And then I add a little bit of baking soda just to, because sometimes I get acid indigestion. Just if I do it once in a while. Hello, Grandpa Brian. I figure I put a little bit of baking soda in my drinks once in a while. It keeps the acid. It works perfectly. I mean, I don't have acid reflux at all anymore, as long as I just once a day put a little bit of baking soda, a tiny bit. That's one thing about baking soda. It's cheap. You can buy a big box for $1, and then a pinch of it, literally a pinch, a tiny bit in water, which is why I usually drink water. But decided to put in the baking soda, and it went a long way. It tastes a little bit salty for some reason, but it's good. Back to my focus about being thankful for ourselves. We need to stop once in a while and think about ourselves and not about what we need or what we want, but how we should treat ourselves. And then a lot of times we have that negative self-talk. I think that negative self-talk is the inner voice not getting the voice it usually gets. And when we listen to it more, it's less negative self-talk and just self-talk. And if we listen to our inner voice more, it becomes less negative and more, not positive, but more neutral. Because that inner voice sometimes does pick things out And I've come to the conclusion that I'm going to call my negative self-talk, the lower voice, my lower self. And with that, I want to thank the lower self for giving me insights into what other people are thinking or how other people are reacting. Because even though the negative self-talk part of me does sometimes talk negatively to me, it also gives me insights of what others are doing around me. Sometimes it, you know, exacerbates it, blows it out of proportion. But there's a truth in there. When I start listening more, I get more insights into what other people are thinking, which, being a little bit socially awkward, it's tough for me to handle social situations, which is what great thing about YouTube is that for some reason, people on YouTube who really do well on YouTube, not myself actually, but more like a Markiplier or a MySkerm or the people who go on, and show off and stuff like that, like Mr. Beast. They're actually in person. They're very social awkward, but on their videos, they're great. They're exuberant. They're fun. They're energetic. But in person, they're very nervous and they're quiet. And that's a funny thing about YouTube. It brings out that inner person. You're able to talk more and interact with people when you really can't face to face. And that inner part of me, that one that used to have negative self-talk, it will give me insights of what other people are saying, other people are thinking, and if I just listen to it. And sometimes it's, again, too negative, but again, it gives me an insight. I can take that information for later, or know that, wait a second, that person is making a funny face to me. Did I say something wrong? Or they just reacted to something inside themselves? Let me be quiet a little bit and listen to them. Because a lot of times when we're nervous, me especially, when I'm nervous, I start to talk a lot. But honestly, I'm a better listener than a talker. So I have to let that inner voice that says to me, hey, quiet down. Let's listen to this person. Sometimes it says, you should shut up because they're angry, they're upset, and okay, they're not so much upset, they're just reacting. And I have to listen to the inner voice and take on to that information. Thank that inner voice, even though it might be talking negatively. Thank it for its insight. Thank it for its information. And I do that as a daily. I thank my higher self and thank my lower self. And that's also given me much better balance to myself. Thanking the angels and thanking God is great, but when you come down to it, you've got to help yourself so you can be your best self to help others. But those are my ideas. It was the deer. Yes, the deer they'll follow me if I'm not careful. That's the funny thing about deer. Where I am is it's kind of a suburban kind of place, surrounded by houses, but there's a conservation area in the middle. And there are a lot of deer in there if you're just quiet and I walk, and they seem to respect me, and because I see them and say, hey, I'm not really here, and unfortunately there's too many of them. They're going to start starving, because I know this year there are no acorns on the ground, which normally, like last year, it was covered. Acorns were everywhere. But this year, there's not a single acorn on the ground except for the 3 black acorns I found, which indicated with the tree was making acorns. Decided, I'm not making these were acorns, and it drops them. And so it's going to be a lean year for a lot of animals. Acorns, which squirrels eat, and blue jays eat, and I believe deer eat acorns too. So it's not a good year for some animals. Oh, and I also came to the conclusion that one of my guides is my own higher self. And I thought to myself, well, how could my higher self, how could me being my own inner guide? And then I realized the higher self is timeless. It is more of it encapsulates all of your life and has insights, information from all parts of your life to give you that information. So sometimes once you thank your guide, you have to realize that one of those guides might just be yourself. And that insight into myself blew me away. Because, who is our best guide but ourselves? But, sometimes we forget to listen to ourselves, and, forget to listen to those inner voices that come from, we think from outside of ourselves, when actually it comes from right there, inside of yourself. Okay. Another thing is that when you're watching a video, I was watching a video earlier and they were talking about higher self and about, enlightenment. Now, how they were an enlightened person, and, how enlightenment, makes us better than other people. And it began to offend me. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And I realized that if you come to something that offends you, that upsets you, if you're offended, it's not the time to deal with it, but it is a good time to take it, write it down. For me, I put it in my phone, and I put an alarm 6 hours later and say, okay, remember when this offended us? Can we look into this and figure out why it offended us or why it was bothering us? And sometimes it might be 6 hours is not enough. I need another day. So I'll put the alarm for another 24 hours to take information and reevaluate and look at it. And thinking about it was the person who talked about, how they're enlightened. And for me, no one is enlightened in his physical body. It's a journey. Enlightenment is a journey. You can never really achieve it, but you're always working towards that. And they were against that. No, I'm enlightened, and and other people they don't have the insights that I do, and that's fine. But that's the problem, is that even though they might have a different path than me, it's not wrong. It's what they want. It's what they believe. Yes, Griff O'Brien, that is exactly what my higher self, what my guides had said to me, that people who are truly enlightened never say they're enlightened. They don't need to say they're enlightened. They never tell anyone that they're enlightened, because if you're enlightened, you're already there and you don't need to voice it. But when other people who are on the enlightened path come to you, you have a good conversation, but you never say how much more enlightened you are than them. You give examples and you talk and you help them up, but you never say, oh, I'm enlightened. But yeah, that's one of the things which I was trying to get over, and that took me a while to figure out why I was offended, because that was the key. Someone who is enlightened would never say they're enlightened because they don't need to. Hello, Teresa Danton. Teresa Danton. I put an L in there. I apologize. But that's the thing, is that you can be enlightened. I imagine anyone can be enlightened. It's just you don't need to say it, and those who are saying it might be just a good example for those on the enlightened path. And that's what I needed to take with that. It took me a while, because I was so offended by someone saying that they're enlightened and being pushing. And another thing is that an enlightened person never says how much more D'Antone. I'll get it. An enlightened person never needs to say that they're enlightened. They never say how much more enlightened they are to someone else, but they will talk with them from a higher perspective, but not pushing it on them. It's one of those things where if you know, you'll know that you're talking to a more enlightened person, or even an enlightened person. I have met enlightened people, but they're monks, and not Christian monks. I was talking with a Buddhist monk, and it was kind of funny. My wife, she has a temple that she goes to that she enjoys very much, and they're very nice people. And I got talking to one of the monks by accident, because I was out, because one of the things that I love open spaces, and they had a path behind their way, all these paths to go around with they were Buddhas, but they were kind of like old Buddhas. So they were like statues that they leave outside, because they're not in the best of shape. So they're safe to be outside, but they still could be used for something. So they kind of guide your path. You can follow broken Buddhist, they're not really broken, but they're worn out Buddha statues. And there was a monk there, and because I don't know the different robes for people, he came talking to me, and I'm like, yeah, I like going into open places, makes you feel calmer and relaxed. And sometimes indoor places, like you're kind of nervous, and it's great to hear the monks chant and talk and everything, but they're chanting in Bali and in Lao and Thai. My wife is Thai, but she understands some Lao. It's a Lao temple. And he laughed and says, yeah, sometimes it can be tough, to understand, but the message is always there. I said, exactly. And I feel it so much here, and I am talking to him. And then later we come in, and I sit down, kneel down at the room, and then the monks are praying, and then the head monk walks in the middle and sits down. And of course, I realized the guy that I was talking to was the head monk for the temple, who was walking around clearing his head. And he decided that he was either done clearing his head, or he wanted to talk to the strange white guy, because I'm a stranger to them. That most everyone goes there are Asian. And so he began telling a story about the pleasant individual, and basically talking about the conversation we had just a half an hour ago. And I wasn't sure. And he used that to demonstrate how being little things for enlightenment come from different places, and even an enlightened person who believes that they're enlightened can learn something from someone which you would consider not as enlightened. And he gave this whole story about, you're never really better than anyone else, because someone who you consider yourself better than can teach you so much more. And of course, I was honored, but again, I was a little bit put aback, because I was talking to the head monk for the temple, unrealizing the guy had perfect English. He spoke perfect English, but English was not his first language, but he just learned it very well. And he must speak at least 7 different languages for all I know, because he speaks the Bali, which is what the ancient Buddha language is, Bali, which I'm pronouncing wrong. And then he spoke Lao, and he also spoke Thai. And I believe he spoke Cambodian, which they're all very similar languages, but of course English. But it was a great thing to learn that, on our spiritual path, we'll meet all kinds of individual, and someone we consider as not spiritual can actually teach us some important things. And that's something that it's tough. It's tough to learn that, because sometimes people annoy us, but that's why when someone's annoying you, you got to take that annoying situation, which is I'm trying to go back to, and write it down, and then put an alarm to look at it again 6 hours, 24 hours later, that maybe that thing that was bothering you might have a lesson in there. But of course, once you're dealing with it right now, it's hard to deal with something that's bothering you. When it offends you, it bothers you, and you're right in the moment, right at the moment, and those emotions kind of cloud the learning process. That's why, having cell phones is a burden, no question about it. But we can use this burden to bless ourselves and bring ourselves up by using it to help us be enlightened. Like for me, I have timers for my meditation, so that I don't have to worry about how long will I meditate. I just have it play bells every so few minutes, so I know, okay, I have this much time left, and I can still clear my head, and I can do my meditation. And once the final bell, I've completed my 10 or 20-minute meditation. That's, we can use our cell phones as a tool rather than a burden or as an anchor. And that's another thing. Cell phones, they are a black box. They are a black mirror. They are a difficult thing when people are staring at it all the time. And I am going to choose a day once in a while. I'm going to promise myself that I'm going to put the cell phone away and just be in the forest, just take a walk, just be in the moment. And, who knows what day that would be, but I need to take time once a week to be cell phone less and just to clear my head, because it is one problem that when you like that is that oh, I have an idea. Oh, I don't have my cell phone locked in the car. And that's when I have to make sure I bring the notebook with me, which is, again, I bought some small notebooks in a dollar store with a good pen, because you don't buy dollar store pens. You need a good pen, so when you want to write something, you gotta be able to write it, because when you trash pen, you're trying to write something. Or a pencil. Pencil always writes. But again, I'm going off on a tangent. But yeah, if you learn to take your cell phone, put it away, but you always want something to write something down, pad of paper with a pen works fine, which I have to remember. Oh, another thing is that a lot of times when I'm meditating, these scenes in my life come up that I did wrong, and I keep going over them. And one of the things is that I promise myself that again, notebook, I write down the situation. Okay, I'm going to go over this again, just so I don't have to worry about it while meditating. Okay, meditation, I will look at this later. After meditation is done, I promise. That way I can not have to meditate on it. But one of my biggest obstacles is when a meditation and something comes up, it was a pleasant memory. But for some reason, my mind goes, I could have made this better. And I get stuck on that, which is my new obstacle. It's not so much the bad things that I have to rehash and try to make better. It's those pleasant memories that for some reason I get stuck on and think, oh, I could have done this much better, made it more pleasant. And that's a new obstacle for me that's really causing trouble for my meditation. It's a funny thing, it used to be the problem with the bad things and going over mistakes I've made. But now those have become on the side because I'll deal with those and think of those later and go over them and try to make a pleasant memory out of them. Now I'm getting these pleasant memories that for some reason I think to myself how much better I could have made it. And they're old memories, like 10, 20 years ago. Some from my childhood. They were pleasant memories that I think to myself that it was a good memory, but it could have been so much better. That's the strange thing about the human mind. The more you clear things up, the more strange things come out of the woodwork. And because I've been so focused on helping deal with my negative memories and try to make them, learn from them and be better from them, my mind has gone, what about these pleasant memories? What about them that you could make better? And it's a new experience for me to try to be stuck in meditation with the pleasant memories. But that's what the human mind does. And I guess I could, if anyone wants to come on, I could invite anyone. I just have to remember how to do that. Oh, I can do invite. I just made a mistake. Okay. And I can make an invite, and anyone can come on who wants to. There we go. I'm just experiencing with StreamYard. I mean, it's still a new thing for me. I'm still learning how to play with it. But I figured, since no one was on, and I figured I'd come on for, a little over an hour. Yes, Teresa. Yes, Teresa. The mind has so many layers, and once you think you've cleared up, okay, this is nice and organized. This is a nice organized life. My mind, I can meditate, not to worry about the past for a little while. Okay, good. But then I was like, hey, how about these good memories? You could make them better. And of course, you can't. You can't change the past. But the mind still wants you to try, which is something that's far, far beyond me. Why the mind wants me to change the past, I don't know. But that's what the mind does. And we're better for it. Because that's the thing. The mind is always trying to help us. And no matter what things it comes up with, it comes across as negative, it's probably coming from a good place. Even those horrible negative voices, they probably started from a good place, but initially we didn't learn from it. We didn't, listen. We ignored it for too long, so the negative voices came and just kept ramping things up and becoming this toxic advice. In the beginning, it was probably good advice. We just didn't hear it in the beginning. Oh, I was thinking about a new affirmation. I wasn't quite sure what to do with it, but I think I'll throw it out there. I have everything I need in my life. Please help me. Please open my eyes and my mind to find the opportunities to use them. And it's something to do because a lot of times everything we need is right here. We don't have to keep searching for more and more when it's just here. We just need to know that it's there. It's the, the mind of the Black Friday. Black Friday is about lack. It's about the big stores trying to get us in there so they can make their money. But the only way they can make their money is to make us think that we lack the good things. We need the good things in our life. But a lot of times we have everything we need. Um, you know, the big thing is, getting a new cell phone every 2 years. That's the corporate world mindset, is to try and tell everyone that they need the new cell phone, they need the new computer, um, they need the new car. But I'm driving a 2004 Subaru Forester, and the paint is chipping, but nothing's rusted. It's a little dirty, long for where it has a moonroof, and inside there's I think there's 4 layers of glass, but in the inner layers it's cracked. But the funny thing is, it doesn't. The structural integrity is not compromised. It was an issue that they knew, and it cracked the first couple of years, but they left it because it doesn't affect the structural integrity of the window. So yeah, the window has a crack inside it, but again, it's a solid because it's so many layers. One of the panes is cracked. It's strange, but it looks ugly. But I don't need a new car. I still have my 2004. And now my wife wants to drive my 2004, and she wants me to, because we have a 2011, I believe, another Outlander, which my wife drives, but she wants my 2004 because I drive more than she does. But also, I call her Tabitha. Tabitha is my red Forester, but she's got auto start remote, so you can press the button and it will start itself. And even the funny thing about the car is that if it's old, so it won't start the first time, but after about a minute or two, it realizes, oh, I haven't started. It will start itself. And then that's the thing about my remote start. My wife wants the remote starter, because the newer Subaru doesn't have the remote starter. It wasn't installed. Remote starters are pain. I don't really use them that much. But Chloe, with her shopping today, was getting 2 new pairs of jeans. Yeah, well, yeah. When you have clothes that are worn out, it is time to get new clothes. That's one thing, is when older clothes will last a while, but again, once it rips and wears out, you really can't do too much with it. I had a suit. Funny, I had an older suit, which is in perfect condition, but we bought a newer suit about 10 years now. I bought a new suit, and unfortunately, I don't wear it. So it had it all zipped up and everything, and somehow Caterpillar, something got in there. And my newest suit, which is fitted for me perfectly, I paid a big money. It's got all holes in it from caterpillars or whatever it is, moths, moth larvae. But my older suits, they never got affected because I didn't put them in the bag. So I don't know what happened, how the moth got inside the bag and laid all its eggs and ripped that suit up. But I still have my old suit, which works perfectly. Again, it's a 10-year-old suit that I've worn a couple times. Weird things. It was 10 years ago when I lost my job. Hello, Robert V. Be careful driving. But 10 years ago, I lost my job, so my wife said I needed a new suit for my interviews. And the funny thing is that I didn't get my job after I got the new suit and paid the money, and I didn't have any interviews. I basically got the job it was a temp job, and that temp job moved into a new job. And even my new job after that were all phone interviews. So I got 2 jobs. Even After I got the job after that one, I've had 3 or 4 jobs after that. Each time were phone interviews, Zoom things. So that suit really wasn't worth the price I paid for that suit. But that's the thing. Surprises in life come from everywhere. Yeah, how's your? Actually, he's driving. Robert's driving. It's tough to answer questions. So whenever he comes, whenever he's relaxed, maybe after the video's done, Robert, you can write at the bottom of the comments how your move's going. Or even tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow is Saturday, isn't it? So you can mention tomorrow. You should be your move all done, so you can talk about your move during the Thanksgiving episode. That's better. Drive safe, Robert. You don't have to answer questions. Just drive safe. I think I've run out of mindset. My mind's about. I had all these notes. I want to create new affirmations, which I have hope. Where are my affirmations? I don't know. I have a notebook full of affirmations, and I seem to have misplaced it because I was reading. It doesn't matter. I was reading it somewhere else. Yeah, I want to make a new affirmation that I have everything I need. Please open my eyes and mind to find these opportunities. It's not quite right. Well, yeah, a suit is always a good investment. The problem is when you have a suit that's functional, buying a new one, which that's the problem, is my oldest suit is now my go-to suit because my newest suit it's got holes in it. So I should have probably put a cedar hanger would have probably been a lot easier. Which probably that's the older suit I think has a cedar hanger on it. At one point, I had bought a whole bunch of cedar wood hangers. I think I'm gonna get a yard sale, something like that. I got a whole bunch of them, and I just started Chloe in the shower. That's fine. It's fine. At 5:30. Good night. Good night, Grandpa Brian. Yes, have a good night. Yes, 5:30. Oof. That's before the sun comes up. Just have a wonderful Saturday tomorrow. Get some good sleep. I just wanted to have a short little video, and I wasn't quite sure what to do with it. Just wanted to put it out there because Andromeda 7 hadn't come on, and I figured, hey, why don't I steal this opportunity? Because I always promised myself that I'd at least do one live stream once a week. But I kind of dropped that ball, so I figured I'd try to do something with it. And, I need to learn StreamYard. I got my cards. These are the cartouche, the way of the cartouche cards. They're all Egyptian deities, except for one's missing. One of the cards is missing because I lost it. So I can't do card readings with these cards anymore because one of the main cards is missing. But of course, that one card is the most negative card of them all. It's like no matter what, if this card comes up in a reading, it means all negativity on all levels. One side, it's just you have barriers. You're going to have a bad thing coming up. The other side is you're going to have a bad thing coming up, but you're going to learn from it. So it's just kind of good. But each of these cards have a positive and negative side, except that one card, which is just all negative. Yes. Just thank you. I'm online. I'm just doing the live for a little while. My shorts, they're fun. And I can't understand those shorts because the shorts that I don't think much of, they get a lot of views, and the ones I kind of work on a script for, they kind of go. I gotta work better on my shorts. I gotta focus better on them and edit them a little better, or whatever. But it's hard. Being on YouTube and getting really good at YouTube is a challenge, and I don't know where it's going. I don't think YouTube is set for us single individual. I think it's more corporate and AI based. I think that's where YouTube is going. I don't think us single individuals. Well, we can still use it probably, but we won't be get promoted. Probably in the future, it's going to be difficult for us, just regular human beings, to really thrive on YouTube. And that's okay. The people we need will find us. People that need us will find us, and everyone else will find where they need to go, and that's okay. And I think I've run out of things to say, but I could read some affirmations if I find a book. What was it? Actually, affirmations in my head. I live in a friendly, supportive, generous universe that loves me and wants me to be happy and succeed. That's a good one. That's from Joshua P. Roberts. No, Joshua P. Warren. Joshua P. Warren. His book, Use of Force, A Jedi's Guide to the Law of Attraction. Then there's always, God, please grant me serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference. And I think that's a really important one. I'll say, I'm here, I am open, I'm ready, please guide me, God. That's a lot of people have problems with God because of the Bible God, but I don't really think that's the problem. I think the real true God is there for us. He's not there to be worshipped. He's there to go, okay, let me help you. So we don't so to worship God is tell God that we're here to listen, and this is what we think we need. And then God will come to us in his various form, whether it be angels or other people, and go, okay, this person thinks they need this. Hello, Max. Oh, no, John. Hello, John and Max, your cat. I'm responding to the name, but my brain. Welcome, John, to my live stream. So, I don't think God is about being worshipped. I think the real God is about helping those who ask for help. And it comes down to we just need to understand that. And a lot of times the Bible about, what Jesus taught and what Jesus wants, what religion says. But I think the Bible does tell us the parables of Jesus is directly from, the Christ individual, whether he be an actual Jesus person or someone like that. The words are there. And I believe all of us, the teachings, the true, pure teachings of Jesus and Buddha and all the religious heads, I believe the truth is in there, and that we will all know them when we hear them. And it's about just being good to each other. And that's the truth of all, is like, love thy neighbor and, treat others like how you want to be treated yourself. But again, the funny thing about treating others how you want to be treated yourself is to make sure others treat you how you want them to treat you and how you want to treat them. It's a fair situation where don't sacrifice yourself because John's my slave name. Don't sacrifice your needs and your wants to do what you believe society tells you is the right way. But what you know in your heart is the right thing to do, and you want others to treat you the same way. Don't be a doormat. Don't be the person that everyone comes to. And, one of the examples I was thinking of is that moving. I had a truck. I helped everyone move, helped lots of people move. But the one time that I needed to move, and I had small amounts of stuff to move, no one helped me. And that was an awakening situation. And, sometimes that's the tough about being a kind, compassionate person, is that when you need other people, they're not there. And that's a lesson. That's a true lesson, is that, You have to learn that take yourself. Don't let yourself be taken for granted. Don't abuse everyone. Don't be selfish, but take your needs first without impinging on the needs of others. And that's a balancing act. When we think, oh, if I take my needs first, I'm being like a narcissist, and it's not like that at all. It's about taking my needs first so that I can be better, so I can be stronger, and not sacrifice myself and not, go on, not be able to be my best self. Because that's the problem, is when you sacrifice too much, you end up, not being at your best. You end up actually hurting everyone you try to help, because you're not functioning at your highest. Because again, when you sacrifice too much, you secretly begin to resent them. You begin to resent yourself and you resent others because, they've abused you in the past. But again, because you want to do the right thing, you want to help them. But even in the back of your head, well, when I need it, they're not going to help me. But it's the right thing to do. There's a time you got to say, no, I can't help you because you're not there for me. And of course, they're going to come in hard. Oh, I didn't know you needed help. That's not the important part. Important part is that I have to pull back a little bit, and even say I'm sorry. I have to pull back a little bit because I need my needs first. And when they complain, you know who they are. You know what they mean in your life. Because the real true friends are always going to be there no matter what. And that's where I come down to. Oh, Scotty Boy, welcome, Scotty Boy, to my rambling live stream. That's the important thing that I've learned in life, is that the important people in my life are always going to be there. But the ones that aren't that important, when I can't help them at a whim, they kind of scatter off into the, they kind of disappear for a while because, I wasn't able to be at their beck and call. Yes, good to see you too, Scotty Boy. It's a challenge. Being a good person is always a challenge, but being good to yourself has to be less of a challenge. Being good to yourself has to be a priority. Oh, look at my shirt. This shirt is purple. This is one of the Milky Way Messenger shirts, and it's purple. But for some reason, it looks blue. It's driving me crazy. Well, but here's another one that just I wish go back to those days. I wish I was much more braver and got myself more involved in his show, But I prefer to stay in the background. And sometimes I watch his shows for inspiration. Brian. Milky Messages really still has some really important insights. He gave great information, great advice, and still does if you take the time to watch some of his old videos. Oh, Johnny Scotty Boy, I just said call me Wilbur. Okay. But it all comes down to finding advice from different places. And, the old videos are out there. I mean, Awe Steiger has old videos that are great. The Philosopher and the Physicist. Those are some great videos. Milky Way Messengers, old videos. I mean, these are a couple years old. He's been gone for a while, but still gives those messages. And maybe that's what YouTube we need to go to rather than the new and the current. It's just going back and seeing what. Oh, Pure Love Ascension. Welcome, Laurie. It's about, sometimes it's just about looking and seeing what you can learn from the past, and it's nice remembering. It's nice being back in those old days, and things were much more simpler back then. But why is that? Why were things? I mean, back then we had Jeffrey Doherty and Wayne and Jeff were working together, and Brian, and it just, and of course Rex Bear, he's still on, but things have changed. And those strange days. But they were much more fun back then. YouTube was much easier back then too. It became so focused on getting us what we need. It became less and less of what we really do need. But that is what it is. The new paradigm of AI trying to fix everything, show us what we want. Choosing to us what we want, telling us what we should have. But in the end, is it really what we want? I don't know. Because I gave up TV. I gave up all TV. And sometimes, like last Tuesday? It was Tuesday, and it was a snowstorm on Tuesday night here. And I had no idea. I had no idea it was going to snow. So I come out for lunch, and I look out the window, and I see everything's covered with snow at work. And I see that they're plowing our parking lot for work, and I'm like, I don't want to be in the plow's way. So I go and grab my car and drive, because the company has a garage, but it's on the opposite side of the campus, so I can park and I can walk through the buildings. But coming to work, it's much easier to park next to the building and go into work. But so I get in the car, I drive and park inside the parking garage, and I walk back, my lunch. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is that because I gave up TV, gave up all news, even the weather surprises me, which shouldn't happen. I have programmed my phone to show me what the weather is, but I guess I got to look at it more. Oh, everyone's saying, okay, everyone's saying hi to each other. Yes. Welcome, everyone. I think I got everyone, but I still don't know who's what, because I'm actually streaming this to StreamYard, so I'm not sure what's happening on YouTube. And I think everything from YouTube, all the comments come right to StreamYard, which is nice. But I don't know how the video is doing, so I don't know how many people are actually watching. Being in the now, yes, I'm in the now a lot of times, but sometimes I get struck. Snow, rain doesn't bother me. Strange weather, freezing weather, it's all fine. But snow, I need to know about snow so I know how to prepare for it. That's it, just to prepare for it. I don't need to worry about the snow as much as I just have everything ready. But I have to check at least, if I check the weather at least once a week. Yes, giving up TV. That's another thing, is that I gave up TV, but now I'm so attached to YouTube. There's got to be a better balancing act, but it's okay. And then, of course, there's Facebook. And Facebook is changing its paradigm again, and I'm trying to figure that out. But it is what Facebook does. I don't think Facebook is that bad, but again, it isn't that good either. But I think, Facebook keeps me in connection with a lot of my friends. Good. 8, that's fantastic. Everyone, welcome. The 8 people are watching. Thank you so much. But I think Facebook gives us the connection that we can't, back in the couple of years ago when that thing was infecting, blah, 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 kind of cut us off from each other. And Facebook was that social interaction, which is, I think, kind of stuck with that. And, still trying to get in connection with some of my friends. And that's one of the problems with being so close to people all over the world on YouTube and Facebook. It takes me off of being in connection with the people so close to me. And although my native friend, he wants to meet tomorrow, hang out for a little bit, which should be fun. I would like to be him to be on a video or two, but he doesn't see the benefit of that. It's a tough thing to express how he feels about all this YouTube stuff and using it to teach others. He is very much against the electronic. Even he's the kind of guy who doesn't carry a cell phone, which is unheard of and the natural thing. And you wouldn't know that. His company gives him a cell phone, and when they happen to call him or something, and he says, "Oh, sorry, I must have been out of service," that sort of thing. He will check on it once in a while, but normally his cell phone is in his car or at his home. And then, but he says that if it was that important, they really need to call me. They can deal with it themselves. Oh, good night, Teresa. Yeah, I'll be cutting off in a little while. I don't want to go twice past 10. I don't want to cut to Scotty at all, which my little channel won't do that. But just manners. That's all. I just want to be manners. But the most important thing is that my friend, Native American, isn't into technology that much. He has a computer. He has a cell phone, but doesn't really use either that much. And being online on YouTube, he sees no benefit. But he says, if anything I need to convey, I'll just tell you, and you can tell the others. And that's strange, but if he gives me a message, I'll convey it. I'll spread it around. And if I have the guts to tell exactly what he wants to say, sometimes he's the kind of guy to be blunt. There's been times when we've been into a little bit trouble because of him and his mouth. He's not a very big guy, but he's a very strong individual. He's shorter than me, and you wouldn't know. He doesn't look muscular, but some of the stuff he can do. I mean, he can literally climb a tree that you would think no one could climb, but he's just, he's legs and arms up a tree. Just strange. Native, and he's day to day, regular person, but his native blood is strong. He does some amazing things. But I would really love to be on the show. I would really love to be on the show tomorrow night, but I don't think it'd be possible. But I'll try to convince him tomorrow. Maybe I can get accidental, and that'd be fun. But again, it's getting late, and I'm probably rambling on. And thank you all so much for being on my show. Anyone who gets this far in the video, I give you 50 ounces of 50. What was that thing? I forget that affirmation. Whatever. Everyone who watches this, you have total happiness in your life. Everyone that you meet in life will treat each other with dignity and respect. May you have joy and happiness and love and favor in your life. Thank you all for joining me on my little rant. I appreciate you for watching this. I appreciate everyone who came. Thank you all for coming and sharing your ideas in the chat. Go in peace. Go enjoy your life. Go enjoy your weekend. I'll be on Milky Way. No. Yeah. The Milky Way Soul. I'll be on Milky Way Soul Tribe tomorrow night. But basically, exactly 24 hours from now, me, Robin, Courtney will be talking about Thanksgiving and the pilgrims, I guess. But I have pilgrims in me. Courtney has pilgrims in her, and Robert has all kinds of presentations, probably all pictures and everything. It's going to be an enjoyable show tomorrow night. So go out in peace, go in love, go enjoy your 24 hours, and I guess see you tomorrow night. Bye, everybody.